I'm sorry, that was the worst intro of all time. What's up, guys? It's Mars Sports. It's with Marshall. Today, sorry, this is the worst video of all time. I'm just kidding. Today, we're going to talk about March Madness again. But this time, we're going to be talking about the women's brackets. So, if y'all did not see, I did a video on Wednesday, no, Monday, I think, um, about the men's bracket. And if y'all want to see who I picked, go check out that bracket. And I think y'all really like it. So yeah. Anyways, let's do this. So I went to women's bracket, and let's just go through these, shall we? So here's who I have. So by the way, I did forget most of the teams I picked for first four, so I do apologize, but you can check on the stream. So I did this actually 2 days apart. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna put this up here. Anyways, let's do it. So let's start off on with regional one. I guess they don't label the regions with like different words, but they read or they label them differently. But region one, let's start with the round of 64. I have UConn beating UTSA. UConn's just been really dang good this year. I think they're gonna crush UTSA. UTSA is a good team, don't get me wrong, but like you're going against a behemoth of a team. Like that's gonna be tough. I have Iowa State over Syracuse. This could be a close game, but I do think Iowa State has the upper hand in this case. Maryland versus Murray State. I have Maryland winning this one. Maryland, I think, is a good team. I think they will. I think that they will be one to watch out for. Maybe in the whole tournament. I mean, obviously, you see about the next one, but yeah, Maryland's been really good this year. The men's didn't make the tournament, but the women's did. So there's that. I have North Carolina, West Illinois. North Carolina, I think will not. I have them actually get upset in the first round of the men's, but I think the women's will be fine. I think they will win against West Illinois. West Illinois is a good team, but it's be part of could be against North Carolina. Now, Notre Dame over Fairfield. Fairfield could definitely do pretty good in this game because Fairfield's had some good games this year. I think it wins all as well, but I do think Notre Dame has the upper hand at the end of the day. I have Ohio State beating Howard. Of course, both these teams made it in men's because I saw Howard won. Of course, Howard won the playing game yesterday. But Ohio State, they've been really good this year. One of the best teams in the Big Ten, so I think they will win this game, move on to the next round. And then Illinois and Colorado, I think this could be a close game. But I think Colorado's been actually a really good team lately, man. Like I want to pick Colorado. They only lost to West Virginia at one point, who ended up making the conference, who ended up winning the conference. So there's that to consider. Yeah, and then Vanderbilt and High Point. I'm gonna go Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's been really good this year, pretty much all basketballs, but I do think Vanderbilt will win in the end. I mean, they were like the third or fourth seed in the tournament, so yeah, there's that. Like for the men's, or sorry, the women, the SEC tournament for women's. There's that, and then for for the women's. Sorry. And then for region two, I have UCLA being Cal Baptist. I mean, it's an in-state matchup we got here. Cal Baptist is a good team, but UCLA's just been so good this year. They killed Iowa in the conference championship too, so there's that. I have Oklahoma State over Princeton. Oklahoma State, I mean, they've been really good this year. I think Princeton could definitely compete, but I do think at the end of the day it'll be Oklahoma State. I have Ole Miss being Gonzaga. I mean, Gonzaga, they won their conference both in men's and women's, but I do think Ole Miss will beat them in the end. I think they're a good team in women's. Then I actually have Green Bay beating Minnesota in an upset. And Minnesota's a great team, don't get me wrong, but I have a weird feeling they might get tripped up by Green Bay, and Green Bay I think could beat them, honestly. It's a bold pick, but I think that could be like the big upset that's in the bracket. And Baylor versus Nebraska Richmond. I forgot who I picked for this one. I think I picked Richmond. I don't know. But go check in the other game. Or go check in the stream I did. But I do have Baylor win this. I just think Baylor's been really good win this year. I mean, Nebraska Richmond can definitely have a shot. And they're playing each other right now as I'm recording this. But yeah, I do think Baylor's gonna win. And then Duke Charleston. Charleston's a good team, but Duke's been one of the hottest teams in college basketball lately. So I do think Duke, they had a slow start to the season, but they're playing really good teams to be fair. But and they did lose to South Florida, which is kind of weird. But they've been much better to end the season. So yeah, like throughout the season, they got much better throughout the season. So yeah, and then Texas Tech and Nebraska, not Nebraska, not Villanova. Texas Tech, Villanova. I think that'll be a good game. I think either of them can win. I do think Texas Tech will win. I think it'll be close though. We'll see though. Those 7 versus 10 games will be very interesting. And Texas Tech also beat like teams like TC and all that this year. So there's that. And then I mean Texas Tech is inconsistent, but I think it could be inconsistent at points, but I think they'll get through that round. And probably a close game. And then LSU versus Jacksonville. I'm an LSU fan if y'all don't know that. Uh, but LSU, they've been really good. Jacksonville's got a good team. They actually be able to compete against some good teams as well. Of course, they won their conference. There's that. But I mean, you're going against LSU, man. At LSU, like that's going to be really tough. So I think LSU will win that game. And LSU, I mean, they've been really good this year. They're actually one of the only teams to beat the number one seed this year in Texas. Yeah, even though they did lose in the second time they played because it's the team that they played twice this year. Because in women's, of course, for SEC, you play every team in conference. You also, but there's one in conference team you play twice, and we have somehow got Texas. So, I mean, we split series, which is better than like sweeping. I mean, getting swept by them. I would rather swept. I would rather swept Texas than like get swept than what we had now. But I mean, we split series, so I mean, like it could be. I think honestly, like it shows LSU can at least compete. They can also be down on points, yeah. But LSU's been really good this year. Had a few losses, but they've been really good teams to be fair. Yeah, like Vanderbilt and two to South Carolina because they can't beat South Carolina for some reason, and because we lost to them in the tournament as well. And then we lost to Kentucky in the last second shot, just like men's. So there's that. Uh, and then Region Three, I guess we're gonna go like this. Region Three, I had Texas State beating either Missouri State, or I keep on calling it Santa Fe for some reason. Stephen F. Austin. I think I picked Stephen F. Austin to win the playing game. Obviously, it doesn't really matter because like it's not actually it doesn't count towards the pick. But I have Texas winning. Texas has just been really good this year. They just won the SEC. I think they could use that momentum pretty well. And then, of course, y'all see who wins. I'm just explaining all my picks, but I have Virginia Tech beating Oregon. I think both these teams are very good, and I think both of them can make it through to the next round. But in the end of the day, I do think Virginia Tech will get through because Oregon's a good team. They beat some really good teams, but I think Virginia Tech will sneak through. So yeah, and Kentucky JMU. JMU think did they be like a really good team this year, like a power team? Yeah. But I think they could potentially compete, but I think Kentucky will win this game. They've Kentucky's been consistent, but like they've been good this year. They of course beat LSU earlier this year, so yeah. Where's Mapping at LSU? I don't know, I forgot. Um, the West Virginia versus Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio actually got in safer than the last time because they actually won their conference here, unlike in men's. But I mean, they could. I mean, I guess they could theoretically compete, but like West Virginia just won the Big 12. I think they'll be a huge. I think they'll be really good. So yeah. And Alabama, Rhode Island. I have a big upset here, and you may be like, "Oh, you picked Alabama up. You get upset by Akron and in the last one too. You're just an Alabama hater." Yes, I'm an Alabama hater because I do not like Alabama. But I mean, I do have some logic to this pick. Rhode Island's are really good this year. Alabama's had been really good, but like they've had a few down games this year where it's kind of like the LSU game where lost lost by 40. But I think Rhode Island can honestly win this game. I mean, I think it'd be pretty close, obviously. But I think Rhode Island's got a really good team. They've only lost. They have one of the best records this year, so I think they'll be really good. So I think they'll upset Bama. And then Louisville's been Louisville versus Vermont. Vermont, I mean, they won their conference, so I think they could be good. But Louisville is just really good, man. Like they made it all the way to ACC championship. I think they lost to Duke in overtime. So yeah, but they've been really good this year, so it'd be hard to beat. NC State versus Tennessee. This could go either way. I think this is actually a rematch. I'm pretty sure. I think Tennessee beat them last time. Let me double check. Uh, yeah, No, Tennessee lost to NC State last time, but Tennessee's just been so bad lately. Like they've lost so many games. I do think NC State's gonna win it, beat them again. Big voice crack. Uh, and then Michigan Holy Cross. Holy Cross won the Ivy League, of course. I think not the Patriot League, so it's a huge accomplishment for them. But like they're going against Michigan. Michigan's just really good. They've got some really good wins this year too. So yeah, there's that. Why is the Rangers game pushed back to 8 p.m.? Sorry. Uh, moving on for so we got UConn versus Iowa State. UConn has, I mean, Iowa State could definitely be at least semi-competitive, but like there's also a chance competitive, but they could be competitive, but there's also a chance they get blown out, honestly. But it's just freaking UConn, man. They've been so good this year. Like even without Paige Buckers, they reloaded this year, and like man, they're so good. Like it's gonna be tough, man. Really tough to beat them. Like they've only one team has come close to beating them all year. It's Michigan. It's insane to me. And then North Carolina versus Maryland. I think both these. I think this ought to be a good game. But I do think North Carolina will probably win this game. Look what we have here: Notre Dame versus Ohio State. This is like the national championship a few years ago for football. This time it's women's basketball. Both these teams are good, but I do think Ohio State when Notre Dame, they're not as- they're good this year, not as good as they were last year from what I can tell, but like they're still a pretty good team. But I do think Ohio State win this game. And Colorado Vanderbilt have another upset over Cinderella, Colorado. Vanderbilt's been great this year. I think they could make it really far, but I do have a weird feeling Colorado might beat them along the way. So I have Colorado winning that game as a 10 seed. And then for Region Two, I have UCLA beat Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's a good team, but I mean that's UCLA they're playing, so that's gonna be tough. Then Ole Miss versus Green Bay. Green Bay, of course, I have them upsetting Minnesota in the first round, but I do think Ole Miss will beat them. And then Baylor Duke, they actually played each other earlier this season. As Baylor, I'm pretty sure won this game. Yeah, I think it might have been the first game of the season. I'm pretty sure. Yes, it was Baylor that won 50 to 52. I think this Duke team is much better than they were at that point. So I think Duke will win that game. Plus they're higher seeded, of course, as well. So yeah. And then Texas Tech, LSU. If this went like men's basketball, then Texas Tech would slam them. But Texas Tech, I think they're a good team. I think they definitely compete against LSU pretty well. But LSU is just really good. So I think they'll win against Texas Tech. Plus the offense could get rolling, man. There's like 14 games like they scored over. They scored over 100 points. Like they scored at least three digits, including against like Bama, Missouri, and I'm pretty sure Oklahoma. Yeah, in the tournament. Yeah. And then Texas versus Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech's a good team, but they're going against Texas, and they're one of the hottest teams out there right now. So there's that. And then West Virginia versus Kentucky. I think this ought to be a really good game. Kentucky could honestly win, but I do think in the end, West Virginia will win. And Rhode Island versus Louisville. Rhode Island honestly could be pretty competitive in this game. As I say, I mean Bama in the first round, but I do think Louisville will beat them. Then NC State versus Michigan. I think this could be a solid game. But I think Michigan's just really good, so I think they'll win this game. Yeah. And then moving on to Region Fours, um, South Carolina. We got USC versus USC. So uh, either the Palmetto Bowl or USC versus USC or the USC Bowl. Ironically, they played both Clemson and USC this year. And I think USC could be good. I think and South Carolina of course beat both of them, but I mean it's a rematch. I think it could happen, but I do think South Carolina will beat them. Will beat Southern California. So I think USC will beat USC. There you go. But I do think South Carolina is going to beat Southern Cal. There you go. I think get technical in this case. Yeah. And then Michigan State versus Oklahoma State. Michigan versus Oklahoma State. Michigan State versus Oklahoma. I think both these teams are good. I know Oklahoma kind of got blown up by LSU to the SEC tournament, but I do think they'll be good in in this tournament. I think they will beat Michigan State. I think it'll be a close game though. South Dakota State versus Washington. Wait, did I even go through this? Shoot. Let me go to the ones before this. South Carolina, I think will win this game. At the be like at Southern or Samford. Samford, I think, has a losing record, ironically. I think I picked Southern to win this game. Uh, but Stanford is the only reason why they're here is because they won the conference, to be fair. But yeah, but I do think South Carolina will beat up whoever they play. Clemson versus USC. I think both these teams are good. Of course, both these teams get beat by South Carolina, ironically. But I do think USC will win this game. And then Michigan State versus Colorado State. Colorado State won their conference. I think they could be competitive, but I think Michigan State will win this game. And then Oklahoma State versus Idaho. Sorry, Oklahoma versus Idaho. Idaho won their conference, of course. I think it was the Southland or something. I don't know. But I do think Oklahoma will win that one. This has been a really good team this year. Washington versus South Dakota State. Honestly, I have South Dakota State upsetting them. Washington does really good, but I do think, honestly, I think we find South Dakota State is going to win. They've been really good. They've been really good lately too, so I think they could win that game. Win that game. TCU versus UC San Diego. UC San Diego's. I think they're one of the newer teams in the that's been here lately. I don't know if that's true, but of course they won their conference this year, so there's that. But you're going against TCU. I think it's going to be tough. So I think TCU will win this game. Georgia versus either Virginia or Arizona State. So I do remember who I picked for this game, thankfully. Virginia, Arizona State. I think Arizona State will win. I think they'll actually beat Georgia too. So there's that. Then Iowa, Fairleigh Dickinson. Fairleigh Dickinson's had their fair share of upsets in men's. I mean, I guess women's too. I think they might have women's too. Yeah, but I do think in the end, at the end of the day, Iowa will win that game. So yeah. Anyways, I already got these two games up here. South Dakota State, TCU. South Dakota State, I mean, they have to win against Washington, but I do think TCU will beat them. So yeah, then Arizona State versus Iowa. Arizona State could be competitive, but like I think Iowa will win. I mean, Arizona State has looked good and has been consistent, but I mean they've shown some signs they could do pretty good in the tournament. So a lot better than people think. So yeah. Now we have the Sweet 16. As for the Sweet 16, first off we have UConn versus North Carolina. I think this matchup might be happening in football next year. Um, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, they played each other in the bowl game a few years ago, and UConn actually won that game. I'm pretty sure this is happening in football in 2026. So football or football. Colonel Robin's crying. His Confederate handkerchief. Yeah, they're playing each other on November 7th, 2026. There's that. In football. Anyways, North Carolina versus UConn, man. North Carolina's a great team, but like, dude, UConn's just blowing everyone out. So I think UConn will win that game. And Ohio State versus Colorado. I mean, Colorado made it hard. It's hard, pretty impressive to start off with. But at the end of the day, I do think Ohio State will win this game. I think Colorado will be really good in that game. I think at the end of the day, it'll be Ohio State. And then now we have UCLA versus Oklahoma State. I mean, UCLA versus Ole Miss. Sorry, Ole Miss is a good team, but man, that's gonna be tough to compete against. Uh, UCLA, I think they'll win that game. And then Duke versus LSU. This is actually a rematch as well, as Duke lost to LSU by 16 in December. It was actually a home game, pretty sure. It looks like it. I think Duke will be more competitive this time, but I do think LSU is still a better team, so I'm going to pick them to win this game. And then Texas, West Virginia, two conference champions right here. West Virginia could be really good in this game, but like I do think Texas will win this game. And then Louisville versus Michigan. Um, uh, Michigan, well, this will be a great game. I think both these teams have a very good shot making it really far. But I do think Louisville will win this. Yeah. Now we have the Elite Eight. No, we don't. Sorry, I keep on skipping this. I'm sorry, this kind of did it in a weird way. And then the last week 16 games in this tournament. I have South Carolina versus Oklahoma. This actually Oklahoma beat them earlier this season overtime. I do think South Carolina will avenge that loss. I think they'll win this one. So yeah, I think they'll get revenge. And then TCU versus Iowa. I think this ought to be a great game. I think both these teams have very good shots to make it to make it to the next round. But I do think TCU will win that. I think they'll recover pretty well after losing the Big 12 championship. Yeah. Anyways, move on to Elite Eight. UConn versus Ohio State. Both these teams are great. There's actually a rematch of a matchup for earlier this season. And I think Ohio State could do better, but like it's UConn, so I think UConn's really good. So UConn I think will win that game. UCLA versus LSU. I mean, this might be a hot take, obviously. UCLA's crushed a lot of teams this year, but LSU at the same time is out for revenge. And yes, they can't do great in South Carolina, but apparently can do good in South Carolina. But I'm actually have LSU win this game. I think they'll get revenge on UCLA. I think they'll actually upset them in this case. I think UCLA be favored in this game. But I think LSU win. I'm not saying that just because LSU is my favorite team, but like I'm saying that's not the reason why I'm saying this. Because I'm like, you're biased, blah blah blah. I mean, sure, maybe a little, but LSU is really good, and like they literally beat a number one seed. I think LSU's had stiffer competition at points this year. Big Ten's got great basketball teams too, but like the SECs, they got like freaking number one seeds and like a bunch of other teams in the tournament. So I think LSU will beat UCLA in a very close game. And then Texas versus Louisville. This I think Louisville could be good. I think they'll be very competitive. I think they'll be competitive in the game. But Texas is just so good this year, man. Like, and especially lately, I think they'll win this game. Now we move on to the frick. I can't miss. And then South Carolina versus TCU. TCU could give them a really good run for their money, but I think South Carolina will win. Just South Carolina's so good, man. Now we got Final Fours. My Final Four is UConn, South Carolina, LSU, and Texas. Um, As Final Four, UConn, South Carolina actually could be a revenge game for South Carolina from last year, as this is actually a free match of the national championship last year for women's basketball. But I do think UConn will win it again this time. It's just they're so good. And then LSU versus Texas. They beat each other once. LSU won the first match and Texas won the second match. LSU won it at home. Texas won it on the road. Sorry, no. LSU won at home, won this one at home, and Texas won this one at home. So they're very familiar with each other. They both now know how to beat each other. Now, who will win this time? I hate to say it, but I think it'll be a really good game. I do think Texas will win this game. I hate to say it, but like Texas is really good, man. And then UConn, Texas. UConn's crushed so many teams this year, and Texas is really good. But you know what? It's so hard to go undefeated, man. Like could definitely win this, but I have a weird feeling Texas is gonna beat them in the championship. So I have these guys win the championship. So I guess I'll have to put it up for these because I have them winning, so I can't do this. Yeah, but I have Texas winning women's March Madness this year. It's just they're so good, bro. Like they've gotten so good throughout the season too, as well. Like they've beaten so many good teams. They beat South Carolina twice. They beat LSU. Like they're only three losses this year. Come to very good teams. As they come to, I think they're two or three losses. And they're only actually, yeah, they're only three losses come to LSU, who they ended up beating later on, of course. South Carolina, who they ended up in the, who actually they actually beat twice in a neutral site tournament, or early season tournament. That actually did not count towards the conference record, ironically. And then in an SEC championship, they beat them. And they lost to Vanderbilt, but yeah, Vanderbilt's been great this year. Yeah. But I think they'll win the tournament. Yeah, and I think 161 points will be combined scores. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a nice day and goodbye. See you next one. Peace. And let me know what your March Madness brackets are. Anyways, bye. Wow, Nebraska's beating up Richmond. Peace.